This lesson is about the methodology and process of footprinting. As I mentioned in the last video, it's important to have an objective and a rough plan for the data you're trying to collect. What are you trying to hack? This will guide the types of data that you target and the tools that you use. If your target is a physical building, you're obviously going to have some physical security measures. You're going to be taking a different approach than if it was a website. You're not going to go casing the building of a hosting provider when you're trying to maybe hack a website for your client. That would just be dumb. Now, you wouldn't probably be the first person who ever did it, but you might want to save yourself some time and some embarrassment. You will mainly engage in two types of footprinting, passive and active. Passive footprinting is when you gather information from publicly available sources, such as websites, social media, job postings, or press releases. Search engines are key to passive footprinting. I don't even see how you could do it without it. Active footprinting is when you actively engage employees of the organization using social engineering to obtain information. Humans are often and almost always the weakest link in a system. We can use techniques like eavesdropping on conversations, sending out fake emails that ask for personal information, spying on people's computer screens, and even dumpster diving for important papers. You would not believe what people throw away. And a lot of the famous hackers of the 80s and 90s and even now accredit dumpster diving to getting a large amount of data. Just avoid the really heavy wet bags. Let's step back to passive footprinting for a second though. Once you decide on your footprinting objective, the first tool you'll probably use is a search engine like Google.com or Bing.com. Using a search engine, you can find way too much information, let's put it that way, such as technology platforms, employee details, login pages, intranet portals, and so on. The search can easily provide even more details like security personnel names, what type of firewall they perhaps use, antivirus protection. It's not unheard of to find network diagrams and other information. You would probably be surprised what's publicly available on the internet, whether intentionally or most of the times unintentionally. And just for a special treat, in a later demo, I actually show you some really, really good stuff that's just sitting out there for no good reason. Oh, it's hilarious. In our Google hacking lesson, I'll teach you how I found some of these absolutely crazy things that are on the web. Social security numbers, confidential information, confidential business plans, do not disseminate, not for public release. Oh yeah, it's all right there. Pretty much only limited by your imagination at this point. Another potentially useful tool is Google Maps or Bing Maps, which can reveal office locations, phone numbers, hours, but you might be not surprised to know that that's really easily hackable. And whatever you do, don't look up my name and Google Maps in the same sentence. And if you actually do that, don't do what I did, because you will get into a lot of trouble. I'm really, really lucky to not be in a federal prison at this point. Well, back to the fun stuff. Social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, these are great resources for discovering really intimate key details about people, relationships, both personal and professional. We're going to cover this in more depth in the social networking lesson. People searches like Zaba Search, White Pages, Spokio, even Intellius's free search gives up information. You can match emails, phone numbers. This is another thing that private detectives call skip tracing. Oh, yeah, and one of the easiest ways to gain information about a target is ask for it. Social engineering is underrated and hugely effective for collecting information. Social engineering gets its own section because it is that important of a topic. Are you paying attention? When I'm talking like this, it means something's important, or I'm also on a bumpy ride. I might even show you a few different strategies for how to manipulate your fellow human beings. I mean, coworkers, friends. But before that fun though, let's talk about note-taking. Footprinting can result in a ton of information, and if you don't get organized first, you are just going to get buried, get frustrated, and you won't be able to use all of the information that you get. The more organized you are, the better you can see the connections, the better you can figure out what they're actually showing you with this data. Evernote, OneNote, if you have access to Microsoft Office, you have OneNote. It's great for syncing across devices. Evernote, also a really popular, totally usable option. Notepad++ is a great supplement, text editor, organize a folder structure, save note files inside the folder structures, categorize things that you find. Anything related to physical buildings goes in one pile. Anything that's passwords, another. Networking stuff, another. Diagrams here, pictures here. Keep like stuff with like stuff. I could always bring in my second grader and she could teach you how to do that. I'm just kidding, she doesn't want to do that. As you see, it takes multiple sources to build a complete profile of an organization. Footprinting combines passive and active methods to collect this information and align it with your hacking objectives. Next up, I'm going to show you the magic of Google hacking and how to refine your search results.